Hi. Hi, I'm Raya.
And I'm Brandon.
And you're watching.
More Love with R&B.
You must be excited to be recording again.
I am excited to be escorting again.
Today we do have I think an important video.
Yes.
To bring to you guys, and it's talking about battling loneliness within your marriage.
Yes.
I think that especially during this time where it's cold and you're probably in the house.
The weather outside is frightful.
Yes. When you feel lonely within your marriage, it could be really, really dreary.
Lonely. Okay. Dreary is a good word.
Okay, and so we kind of want to talk about that, and we kind of want to give you some tips on what you can do. And so there are many different reasons as to why you might be lonely within your marriage. Mm-hmm. One, of course, is like physical distance.
Yes.
Maybe you and your spouse have different work schedules. Maybe your husband works evenings and you work days, and so you guys are going to continue to miss each other.
Yeah, there could also be people who have spouses that are overseas, people who have spouses that work nights, kind of like what you were talking about. So there's the physical distance.
Yeah.
There could be, we actually know a few spouses who just work in different states and they commute. Like they live in one state for 5 days and then they come back home for the weekends. And that just works for them financially or whatever the case may be, but there is still that physical distance there. Exactly. That could cause loneliness.
Exactly. And then you have the emotional distance.
Yes.
Where you don't understand why, or maybe you do, but you physically live with your spouse, you physically have the same schedule, but you guys are just not connecting. You're not talking. There's walls, and even though your spouse is literally right there in the room, you feel very lonely. And so we want to give you guys some tips on how to bridge the gap and to kind of close off that lonely feeling, especially when it's cold and you guys should be close.
Yeah, I would say the first thing I would say as a disclaimer, what makes us qualified to give any kind of tips? We've been there. How about that? That's all we need.
Done that.
And we're not claiming to be doctors, lawyers, policemen, whatever. I don't know. We're not claiming to be know-it-alls at all. But we are just saying that these specific things that we bring to you guys are things that we actually went through or are going through, and this is how we're dealing with it. So we have both felt lonely, and ours was more of an emotional loneliness. And so we had to figure out what is it that we can do to get out of feeling this loneliness. So the first thing we had to do was talk. I feel lonely. You had to communicate that there's even an issue. Because if we're honest, there are times where my wife would say, hey, I feel lonely. And I'm like, oh, I didn't even know you felt that way. Or vice versa. And she's, oh. There's always going to be moments where you're having emotions that your spouse is unaware of because you're not telling them.
Yeah.
So you have to communicate that you're feeling lonely.
Yeah. So if you're feeling emotionally distant from one another, communicate. The second thing is do something about it. Pick an activity where you guys can come together. A lot of times you guys come home. You guys come home and like Brandon said, you go off on your separate corners and you know, your husband's woodworking in his man cave and you're upstairs watching HGTV and you guys don't really connect. Find something that you guys can do together to kind of bridge the gap. Find something fun that you both can do together. And if you are dealing with a physical distance, something that you guys can do is send some snail mail. if you are physically distant, like maybe your spouse is in the military, send some old school letters. I know that we have technology and maybe you can, video chat, WhatsApp, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
But sometimes sending an old school letter is kind of cool.
And it's personable.
Yeah, and it can be really, really fun to put your words to paper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that.
So another tip, if you guys are physically distant from one another, is skip work.
Oh, how could you say so? Yeah, just...
No, but seriously, schedule a time where both of you guys can take off of work. If he's working nights and you're working days, try to find a day where you both can take off of work and spend the day together.
Agreed.
That can be like a really cool time to like spend during the day and like have a little quality time.
Yeah, go to the movies or something.
Yeah,
go
do
walk
something
around the
fun.
mall holding hands like back in the day when you was dating, you know what I mean? Like go do those kind of things.
So get creative. If you are physically distant, emotionally distant, the best way to bridge that gap, like Brandon said, is to talk.
Mm-hmm.
Find the best way to bridge that gap, but don't allow your emotional or physical distance to keep you guys apart. Find a way to bridge that gap.
So if you guys have any other tips and ideas, please feel free to drop them in the comment section. We hope you liked this video, and if you did, give it a thumbs up. Go ahead and smash that like button with that thumbs up, and go ahead and subscribe. We're gonna have a lot more videos like this coming to you guys that we really hope you enjoy and that we hope help you and your spouse.
Yeah. Thanks for watching.
Bye.